had a situation where I broke down in front of a camera. Mabuti pa kayo may Real Talk Darbs. Pero si Real Talk Darbs walang Real Talk Darbs.
No matter how noisy the world gets,
no matter how loud the world gets,
our goal is simple: influence and activate.
You can always
be louder.
Be louder.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Louder Podcast. Grabe, I am so thrilled, super excited to be in this episode. Hindi nyo alam kung sino yung i-guest ko ngayon. Ako, katabi ko na siya and I'm super excited because today, we're gonna talk about not just heartbreaks, but we're gonna talk about pains, we're gonna talk about struggles, and we're gonna talk about how you, as an individual, can overcome challenges without losing your sanity. Guys, sobrang excited ako dahil itong guest natin for today is someone who is really an expert in the field of love, relationships, heartbreaks, pains, and bouncing back. I'm excited to bring to you my man, my brother from another mother. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best vloggers in the Philippines sa ating generation na to. Let's bring in Real Talk Darbs. Brother, welcome!
What's up, Real Talk Darbs? Back
up,
at
man?
it again. Thank you
What's
very
up,
much,
man?
Kuya Josh. Kung sakaling meron akong magiging major event sa Araneta or na big event, gusto ko ikaw yung mag-intro sa
Oh
akin.
man, I would be so honored.
Gusto ko yung intro mo sa akin eh.
I love it.
Very, thank you very much for inviting me here. Maraming salamat. And of course, for those people who's watching and listening, you're in for a ride kasi for sure this is gonna be super valuable ng content na to.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
100%. Hey, you know what? You're the first ever guest to sit on that chair dito sa ating new setup ng Louder Podcast, man.
Very nice place, by the way.
Exactly. Thank you so much, man. And you know what? Sabi ko, I would really bring in yung unang taong dadalhin ko dito would be someone who's really close to my cardiac muscle. Ikaw yun.
Yes.
And you know what? You know, we met like 2 years ago.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
2 years ago. And I met you as the guy who's always sharing a lot of videos on Facebook, kung saan, alam mo, parang you share a lot of things about love, about heartbreaks. Ang dami mo kinikwento mga ganun. And sabi ko like, you know, this guy kind of makes sense. No? Ang ganda pa nga ng tagline mo doon, it's humor with a sense.
Yes,
no?
sir.
But what I really was, you know, yung nakapag-captivate talaga sa akin is, you know, the things that you actually say and how you get to speak to the souls of people. Now, a lot of people, they see you as Real Talk Darbs. But tonight, I just want to get to know more than that. I want to get to know si Darby Kim Estrevilla. Si Real Talk Darbs before si Real Talk Darbs. Let's start with that. Now, like, who the hell is Real Talk Darbs? How did he start in the first place?
So basically, just like any other story, I just was very lucky to be able to turn that pain into something powerful. Because every individual who is motivated to do things and that somehow they're capable of doing things great is because there's a force behind them that pushes them somehow to achieve that. Always ko to sinasabi na hindi ako sasabihin to ulit that you will never meet a strong person with an easy past.
Tama.
And the things that I was able to say, if ever you're someone who's listening and watching this video that is a follower, you might be thinking, how am I able to connect and somehow speak to you like I'm in front of you and speaking? Ganun kasing comment na nare-receive ko. It's as if I'm...
Tumatagos talaga eh. Tumatagos.
I'm the one who's speaking in front of them sa screen. The reason behind that is because I was in the place where you are. And I come from a place of empathy. And I come from a place where I wanted to at least share the things that I used or the things that I was able to discover while I was in that phase of love, heartbreaks, and ultimate disappointment and rejections. And somehow I was able to channel that God-given talent na when I talk, I'm able to be understood by a lot of people. Kasi most of the time, people would just have that saying na oo nga, no? Like when they listen to the content that I have. But the only reason why I'm here, the only reason why I have a story to share because I built that story from ground up. And just like me, ikaw din, whatever struggle, whatever disappointment, whatever pain, or kahit anong klaseng pagsubok ang pinagdadaanan mo ngayon, that might be a instrument for you to build your story later.
Right.
Kasi your pain could be someone else's survival guide.
I love that. Your pain could be someone else's survival guide.
Yes.
Okay.
Because my pain was like that. And I channeled that pain into letting people understand that when you're going through a heartbreak, when you have relationship problems, those are the things that I was able to go through. And people was able to find a way to relate it to them.
Okay.
Kasi isa lang man naman sa dahilan, specifically when it comes to love and relationship, isa sa dahilan kung bakit most most people are not capable of moving forward is because of the confusion of what to do when you're in that situation. Diba? Hindi mo alam kung anong gagawin mo.
Walang manual, walang
Exactly.
guide, walang ganun eh.
And it's a bit taboo if you think about it. Kasi
Right.
like, say for example, if you see someone going through a heartbreak, most of us downplay it. Like
Tama.
parang,
okay na yan.
oh, may broken
Diba?
hearted.
Exactly. There's no empathy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kasi we're not in that situation. But losing a loved one, like specifically in a heartbreak, is like losing someone or parang nagkaroon ka din ng dead loved one.
Parang namatayan ka din halos.
Parang namatayan ka
Exactly.
din. And most of us don't realize the pain that it could bring to a person. Kasi mahirap yun, masakit yun. And I believe that because of the things that I was able to went through and that I was so open
Right.
in saying those things, people are able to relate. So kaya siguro nakaka-resonate yung aking message to them.
What I love the most is yung ability mo to actually speak from the heart, and that's what you're saying na actually pinagdaanan mo siya. So I want to talk about those things. Like I'm pretty sure maybe a lot of your followers who's probably listening to this podcast and they're saying, oh, you see Darbs, they see you as the guy who's like, oh, this guy knows everything about love, but they don't know na madami kang failures. They don't know na madami kang moments kung saan sobrang nadapa ka, nasugatan ka, and that actually made you who you are right now. Tama ba?
For sure.
Right. We have a lot of people who's afraid of pain. What do you want to say about that?
One of the major reasons why most people avoid pain, and that is one of the reasons as well why people are not able to move forward and move on, kasi they do not deal with the pain right away. They distract themselves from pain.
Correct.
Diba? Most of the time, lalo na sa mga lalaki, most men has difficulty moving on. Kasi ang lalaki, pag nag-break, mambababae yan, maghahanap ng kapalit.
Tatapalan mo na.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Gets
yung
go,
babae, iiyak mo na yan. They would deal with the pain emotionally. And
I-share sa mga girlfriends niya.
So the first 3 months for the women are the hardest. Come 4th month to the 6th month, they're moved on. Ang baliktad sa lalaki, first 3 months are easy because they feel as if nakawala sila.
Right.
They distract themselves from pain. They didn't allow themselves to grieve. Come 4th month, 5th month, 6th month, doon na nila marirealize, I've lost someone. Lalo na pag ini-stalk nila yung ex nila.
Nasaktan pala ako.
Oo.
Hindi ko na-recognize
Exactly.
na may pinagdadaanan pala ako.
Yes.
Okay.
And nakita pa nila yung ex nila nag-glow up na, gumaganda na, may jowa na.
Nag-workout ulit.
Exactly.
Ay, nako, yan yung mga
And that's the time wherein they
Exactly.
have parang all 5th month, 6th month, everything can come crashing down on them. Marirealize nila, oh my God, I think I lost someone. So pansin nyo girls,
Right.
mga lalaki, usually pag nakamasaya na kayo, pag nakamove on na kayo, tsaka pa sila magme-message.
Yeah.
And that is the reason.
100%.
Because of pain. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why most people are scared of dealing with pain. They distract themselves from pain is because they don't want to actually deal with it right away. What's the psychology behind? Why do you distract yourself from pain? Why don't you want to deal yourself, or why don't you allow yourself to feel the pain? Because all people think that pain only brings negativity. Yun lang eh. Kala nila pain, negative, I don't want this.
It's bad.
Yes.
I'm supposed to avoid it.
Yes, that's
Okay.
it. Automatic. Because they don't have any rational thinking saying them that I should embrace the pain, because why should I? Because it only gives me negative things. So how people should think that pain is one of the major things why you would break through as an individual. The enemy of progress is nakalimutan ko, hindi. So the enemy of progress is you're being slacking off. What do you call this?
Complacency.
Yeah.
There we go.
The
I got it.
The enemy of progress is complacency. And one of the major reasons why we don't progress, why most people are not able to break through, because we're so comfortable in the comfort zone. Kasi nasa comfort zone tayo, di ba? Life begins outside your comfort zone, sabi nila.
Yeah.
So, how can we be able to develop as a character is if pain is introduced in our life.
Right. Parang it's like an antibiotic. It's like a vaccine. I'm not sure, like maybe if you guys are listening to this, maybe you're gonna understand it. Kasi parang yung vaccine, do you know how a vaccine actually works, no? They actually inject, or they actually put inside your system yung enemy virus. They actually try to put it inside so that whenever, but it's just a duplicate, no? Whenever there's actually the real virus that comes in,
you'll be ready.
You'll be ready, right? Same thing that with boxers. Yung boxers, they don't get knocked out because of the punch. They get knocked out because they're not ready for the punch, because they never exercised. They were not prepared. And that's the same reason why, tama ba, why a lot of people are in pain, or why they're afraid of pain, is because they never allowed themselves to get used to it.
Yeah, and most of the time, people have a wrong thinking that pain is just negative, which is not the case. Kasi, sipin mo you're being in a situation where you're in pain, you're in difficulty, you have to think that you're being tested, you're being sharpened.
Right.
Na hindi lang to puro negative, hindi lang to para saktan ka, kundi para turuan ka.
Uy, I love that.
And most people, if you have that thinking na nahihirapan ako ngayon, ang business ko hindi nagwo-work, I have been rejected by the person that I thought would never reject me. The plan that I was thinking of didn't work. Alam mo yun, that's pain. That's rejection. That's struggle in life. And that most people would think na dapat hindi mo nararanasan yon. But you have to embrace it because that molds you into becoming a better person. Kasi think of pain as micro bosses. Sipin mo yun, pag naglalaro ka ng video games, merong mga mini bosses sa life. And after you defeated the mini bosses, you get to gain
yung mga kalaban.
Mga kalaban. Okay. Pag natalo mo yung mini boss na yon, you get to gain a new skill.
Yun.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you are able to defeat micro bosses, which is the difficulty or pain in your life, it prepares you to an enormous challenge which you will face later. And because you were able to defeat those micro bosses, magkakaroon ka na ng capability into defeating a major challenge that is in front of you, that if you defeat that, that's where breakthrough happens.
Yeah, man.
Michael C, 16 million in debt?
Yeah.
Tama, di ba?
Yeah,
But because of him being able to be in debt and 16 million, being able to go out there, making 32 million is now easier. How can you deal with pain is to putting yourself into a position that hindi lang ito negative lahat.
Yeah, I love that. So, you're a guy that people look up to. Pagdating sa love advice, relationship advice, let me ask you a question. Do you still get hurt?
For sure, brother. Okay, ito let me just
Hindi pa ba manhid si Real Talk Darbs?
Man. Let me make this clear. Let me make this clear. I am a person that is a work in progress.
Okay. What does that mean?
It means that I'm not perfect.
Okay.
It means that I'm also learning, just like the people who's learning in front of me.
So sometimes
right
the things that you talk about would also relate to you?
For sure.
Yeah?
That's basically most of the things that I talk about relates to me.
Yeah.
It could be that the reason why I have a lot of things to say about cheater because I was one before.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, real talk. Nanloko ako, sinaktan ako nakita ko ng maraming babae, at nasaktan din ako, at niloko din ako ng maraming babae. And that those kind of things that I'm saying to them are situations where I try to improve, are situations where I try to share to them based from a standpoint of a guy na hindi perfect. Kaya maraming, like, if you see my wall, tsaka maraming, I love you, Darbs, ganyan.
Yeah.
Maraming ganun.
Madami.
I love you. But I usually say that you don't really love me. You just say that because you're hearing the things you want to hear from me. And I totally understand that. Siguro isa yun sa mga bagay na masaya ako that I don't usually put fame in my head. Because
it doesn't get to you.
No.
Okay.
Not in a million years because it's something na I'm glad I'm self-aware.
Right.
Self-aware na ganun.
Whew, that's crazy, man. Like, hearing that from you, hearing that vulnerability talk. Grabe, like, I think this is what people don't understand, no? That even influencers, for someone like you who has more than 2 million followers in social media, they don't understand that regardless of where you are, regardless kung nasaang position ka na, you are not exempted from pain. You're not exempted from mistakes. You're not exempted from feeling as if you're alone, even though you tell people you gotta do self-love, you gotta take care of yourself, you gotta be strong by yourself. But people like you, people like me, you have that influence, but still we have those moments when we just like cry like a baby.
For sure, man. It is. Yeah.
Totoo yun. Like, ikaw din, you have those moments.
I mean, had a situation where I broke down in front of a camera. It was like a year ago or 2 years ago that parang mabuti pa kayo may Real Talk Darbs.
Oh, man, yeah.
Pero si Real Talk Darbs walang Real Talk Darbs.
Oh, man. I mean, that because I can resonate, man. I can like that.
Buti pa sila may The Josh.
Oh,
pero walang The Josh.
Exactly.
Yeah. People are Diba?
I'm gonna cry right now.
People are basically looking up to you for energy, for support, for things they have to do or direction.
Tama.
But most of the time, people don't realize that the pathfinder also loses path.
Yeah.
Alam mo yun?
So parang, I mean, it humanizes people like you, right? Humanizes people like myself and everyone else na kung sino pa yung magiging guest natin dito na, being louder kasi the podcast is about, louder. Being louder does not mean that you're always the one who's winning battles. But it does mean that you keep on fighting them.
Exactly. That's how it's supposed to be.
Diba?
The will to pursue, the will to proceed, the will to get up, brush off the dust, and move forward.
Yeah.
And yun nga, madalas kong sinasabi na, Kuya Darbs, paano ba mag-move on doon sa taong sinaktan ako? And most of the time, people are not able to move on is because they just really don't know where they're moving on to. Hindi nila alam kung saan sila papunta. So, paano ka mag-move on kung hindi mo alam kung saan ka pupunta? And most of the time, people are not able to think about the destination they wanna go is because they dwell on what happened. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional.
Yun. Okay, I'll say that again. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Hindi mo maiiwasan na masaktan, pero for you to suffer, that's something na choice mo na.
That's your choice. And the reason why most people suffer is because they dwell on the pain. They they think about it over and over again. Palagi nilang iniisip yung mga bagay na nakasakit sa kanila. In that, it allowed their time, effort, and energy to be frozen in time. Hindi nila ini-spend yon into moving forward. Just like running. Like most people, when nadadapa sila, tumatakbo, most people would just go back up. It doesn't mean that they were not hurt. It means that sakit, okay fine, sakit, grunt, but stand up, brush the dust off, and then continue running.
Tuloy lang.
Tuloy ang laban. But there are a lot of people na nadapa, and even the pain was not there anymore, they still go down because they think about bakit ako nadapa. Ang sakit ng nadapa ako.
I get that. Parang yung bata na nasugatan sa paa, hindi niya binababa yung paa niya dahil masakit. Yung parang nag-1 foot lang siya, nag-hop lang siya. Kahit magaling na yung sugat, nakapaganon pa rin siya.
Exactly. And most people don't stand up after they stumble down. It's not because they cannot. It's because they were thinking of why they stumbled down in the first place.
Sheesh.
They were dwelling on the pain. They were dwelling on the things that made them where they are. And that's the reason why most people are not able to move forward in life. It's not really about the pain. It's really because most people are dwelling on the pain. Even the pain is not there. They dwell as if it's there. Grabe, sinaktan niya ako. Grabe, ano na lang sinasabi ng mga tao sa akin. Grabe, ang sakit-sakit na ma-reject. But eventually, other people or some people just doesn't give a fuck and then just like, okay, fine. And then I just move forward. I just run. And that's the reason why most people wins the race and some still stay on the ground and be left behind.
Some people hear it and they say na, you know what, Real Talk Darbs, that's easier said than done.
For sure, it is.
It's easier to say na, nagdudwell kami dito. You know what, like, hell, we want to get out of this place, but we can't. What are some steps you got?
Well, if I say it's easy, doesn't mean it's wrong.
Okay.
Hindi porket madaling sabihin, hindi ibig sabihin na mali yun.
So friend, it is hard to do?
It is very hard to do.
Okay.
And usually, the hardest thing to do are usually the hardest thing to execute.
Right. Just like working out.
Exactly.
Waking up early. Right.
Being disciplined.
Staying healthy,
Moving on from the pain.
Right.
Those are difficult things. Take note of the word difficult.
Okay.
It's difficult. It's not impossible. So,
mahirap siya pero hindi siya imposible.
Mahirap siya pero hindi siya imposible. So, don't wind down on me and thinking and saying na madali lang sabihin yan pero ang hirap gawin. Fuck yeah, mahirap talagang gawin. But that shouldn't stop you from doing it in the first place.
Right.
Because the right things to do are the ones that are very difficult to execute. And that's the reason why not everybody deserves a happy, fulfilled life. Because not everyone is built to do the things that are difficult to do.
But can they practice doing that?
You should. Yeah. And that's the reason why listening to these kind of things changes the perspective.
Yeah. Kasi may mga viewers tayo ngayon. Maybe you're a listener of this podcast, no? And by the way, I just want to thank you for supporting this podcast. Keep on sharing it. Keep on listening to our next episodes. But maybe you're listening right now and maybe you're thinking na ako yun eh. Ako yung taong pinag-uusapan niyo. Ako yung taong nagdidwell sa pain. Ako yung taong hindi maka-move on. Maybe it's not even a relationship pain. Maybe it's something that has to do with forgiving a loved one. Uso yan, lalo na dito sa Pilipinas. Maybe it's a relationship that's not that well kasama yung mga parents natin or tita, tito, or maybe you have been, maybe you've been abused as a kid. I don't know, physically, sexually, I have no idea. And, tama yung sinasabi ni Real Talk Darbs, it's not that easy. But, we got people listening right now and maybe ikaw yun. Maybe you're listening to us. Darbs, I just want to ask you, man, like, what do you want to tell these people? Tell them, like, not just tell them, but how can you guide them to actually get up and not stay down?
You're gonna die. Think about this, my friends. Mamamatay ka. One fucking life. One life. And you decide to spend it on things that basically doesn't allow you to enjoy that one life that is given to you. The best motivation is knowing that we all have an end.
Wow.
Na
mamamatay ka din.
Mamamatay ka. In that, pag nasa lapida,
okay,
the first numbers that is put there are the day you were born, dash, the day you died, right?
Yep.
What matters on that numbers is the one that is in the middle.
Sa dash.
What do you do in between those days that you were born and you live? And if you want to be remembered as someone who dwell on the pain that was given to them, fine. I understand. But if I were you, you have to understand. YOLO, sabi niya, you only live once. I don't believe that. You don't live once. You die once. And you live every single day. And most of the time, people die without knowing what they want to do. People die just in living a life of mere surviving, right? And I want everybody to have an opportunity to really think and understand, regardless of where the situation is. If anybody who looks like you was able to fucking make, why can't you? There are a lot of people that was abused when they were kids who has become successful in life.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people who got rejected by people that they love who will become successful in life. There were a lot of people who has tremendous amount of poverty that they have to go through and become successful in life.
Manny Pacquiao.
Manny
Villar.
Everybody. So if anybody who looks like you was able to make it, why can't you?
Exactly.
That's number one. And find the very thing why you live. The purpose, the thing that you want to do. Because it's very, very important. Not everybody is blessed to find or at least have an understanding of why they were born. The purpose of why they were born in the first place.
Hindi lahat may awareness na kagad na
Exactly.
ganun. Okay? Yeah.
And please try to do things for you to be able to find that very thing that justifies why you live in the first place.
Right.
That purpose. Because everybody dies, but not everybody actually lives. And the reason why they did not live because they didn't know why they were born in the first place. So, spend every waking moment that you have finding that very thing why you were born. Yung purpose na gusto mo. And mind you, purpose doesn't always have to be stagnant na isang bagay lang.
Right.
Like, I found my purpose. My purpose is to speak in front of camera.
And you're willing to do this until you die.
I'm willing to do this until I die. And I don't judge myself if that purpose would change differently.
Yeah,
Kasi
okay.
a purpose...
Even if magbago siya, okay lang din.
Yeah, because it evolves.
Yeah, but right now, that's your heart and you believe that you're gonna do it until
Exactly.
you die. Okay.
And find that. I wish and hope and pray that everybody finds that because you deserve to live a kind of life like that.
Purpose-driven life talaga.
Purpose-driven life.
What's the moral compass that you use right now? Because a lot of people would, hear advice from you. And, but, like, where's the wisdom coming from?
To be honest with you, it's a very difficult question to answer. But I would just love to think na maybe I was blessed by God. No, this is not me trying to sound righteous, by the way.
Yeah.
I just wanted to parang give him the credit of being able to have a very solid moral compass on knowing
After
what to say.
everything that happened.
Exactly.
Kumbaga, you still like, God, nandiyan ka pa rin. Ganun.
And siya pa rin ang nag-guide kahit paano kung ano yung mga bagay na sinasabi ko at sasabihin ko. Kasi as long as I stay authentic to what I feel and what is right for me, and I believe I have a very good sense of moral compass.
Yeah.
In a sense, coupled with empathy, I think that's a very good recipe in being able to change someone's life.
Love that, man. I love that. And that's exactly what it means to actually be louder. No, like this entire podcast, parang we tell people na, hey, life's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be noisy. There will be distractions everywhere. Pero ang bottom line nito is you have the choice. You have the option to actually be louder than the noise around you. What's louder for Darbs?
Louder for me is having a voice that basically tells you to move forward, to believe in yourself versus what other people is telling about you. Louder is having an internal voice within that basically tells you that you're capable, that you're loved, that you have a voice that basically allows you to become a better individual and makes you realize that you deserve to be loved, to be taken care of, and not to be treated as an option. Being louder in a sense that hindi kasi lahat ng boses na naririnig natin sa utak natin ay boses natin. Most of the time, those voices that doubts us, that those self-talk, negative talk that tells us that we're not enough, that you're not lovable, that bagay ang mga pagdurusa mo sa'yo are not really the voice that we have within. It's the voices that was being put by people that is around us. And that is one of the major reasons why most people think that they are negative, because they think that they're listening to themselves. It's not your voice. It's the voices that was put inside in you, maybe by your parents, maybe by the people that is around you, maybe by the people that are non-believers. So make it to a point that you find your voice within and have a louder voice of positivity, of optimism, of truly fully believing on your capability. Bakit? Because you only have yourself at the end of the day in God to be able to push through the things that you want to do. The things that you want to do, the things that you want to achieve, your own fucking dream. Hindi yan tutuparin ng nanay mo, ng tatay mo, ng ate mo, ng jowa mo. The only person that can help you achieve the things that you want to achieve is you.
You're accountable for it.
For sure.
Love that, man. Wisdom, golden nuggets, 100%, brother. I'm pretty sure sa listeners natin, they got so much value from this podcast. Hey, where can people find you right now?
Real Talk Darbs. You can find me in Facebook. If you like what you hear, like what you saw, find me in Facebook at Real Talk Darbs. Same social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook at Real Talk Darbs. Find me there. I'll be more than happy to
add more value.
Give you more value. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey guys, I'm not just saying that I think, because I believe you definitely had so much value from this episode. So hey, kung nagustuhan mo to, ano pa bang hinihintay mo, go ahead, share this to people you know, share the link, share it everywhere, comment, subscribe, like, do whatever you can, guys, because we know that this is going to be louder. This is going to make an impact in the lives of so many people. Simple lang naman goal namin eh. It's to influence, empower, and activate. Hey guys, my name is Josh Vasquez. With me is
Real Talk Darbs.
And thank you guys so much for tuning into our podcast. God bless you, and don't forget, be louder. No matter how noisy the world gets,
No matter how loud the world gets,
our goal is simple: influence,
empower,
and activate.
You can always
be loud.